Okay, so this.
Good evening. The Supreme Court gave detailed directions to the centre and states on tackling the migrant crisis, even as Railways Minister Piyush Goyal assured that the railways will continue to provide Shramik special trains to states as demanded. Tonight we will focus on how the centre has demonstrated its commitment to welfare of migrant workers so far amid the COVID crisis. Also on the show tonight, Lieutenant Governor takes stock of Delhi's COVID-19 preparedness and how. All that and more in this edition of Newsnight. I'm Munman Bhattacharya. First up, the headlines. Supreme Court directs centre and states to facilitate return of migrant workers to their homes within 15 days, asks states to collect data for giving employment to migrant workers after mapping their skills, directs states to consider withdrawal of complaints against migrant workers for alleged violation of lockdown norms. According to sources, India and China disengage at multiple points in eastern Ladakh. Chinese troops and infantry combat vehicles moved back by 2.5 kilometers. India has also moved some of its troops back. Delhi's Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal chairs meeting of Delhi Disaster Management Authority, directs all stakeholders for containment zone strategy, contact tracing and testing as per ICMR's guidelines. LG also chairs all-party meeting. In an exclusive interview with DD News, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari says a recent change in definition of MSMEs will add nearly 25 lakhs new MSMEs in the sector. Says government plans to spend 15 lakh crore rupees in highway infrastructure in the next 2 years. Adds that India will become a super economic power. GOM reviews containment measures of COVID-19. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan says India is far better placed than the rest of the world, but it is no time for complacency. Centre has provided more than 104 lakh PPEs to states and union territories. Central teams deployed to over 50 municipal bodies facing high COVID-19 case load. These teams will ensure better coordination between centre, states and municipal bodies. Union Home Minister Amit Shah addresses West Bengal Jan Samvad rally through video conference, slams the Mamata Banerjee government over political violence, hits out at West Bengal government for not allowing the implementation of Ayushman Bharat scheme. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds a telephonic conversation with President of Philippines Rodrigo Duterte, discusses steps being taken by the two governments to address the challenges arising out of the COVID-19 pandemic. More than 1.29 lakh COVID-19 patients cured and discharged in the country. 7,466 fatalities have taken place so far. Total number of active cases now stands at 1,29,917. WHO chief warns the coronavirus pandemic is worsening globally, urges countries to press on with efforts to contain the virus. Over 71.4 lakh people worldwide infected by coronavirus. Deaths surpass 4 lakh mark. At our focus tonight, the Supreme Court today directed the centre as well as states and union territories to make a lot of policies for the benefit of the migrant workers. And here's what the Supreme Court said. Well, the Supreme Court has asked the centre and the states to make arrangements for the travel within 15 days. It directed the Indian Railways to provide trains to states within 24 hours of their request. And this is in addition to the 171 trains which the states have already asked for. And after the verdict, the Railways Minister Piyush Goyal tweeted that Railways will continue to provide Shramik special trains to states as demanded. Here's more on what the Supreme Court said.
In a major relief for migrant workers, the Supreme Court has directed all states and the centre to ensure that all workers who want to return home shall be sent to their hometowns within 15 days. In its orders, the Apex Court said that all the states and union territories shall take all necessary steps regarding the identification of stranded migrant workers in their state and make arrangements for their return journey by train or bus. The court has also said that in addition to the demand of 171 Shramik trains, if states request for additional trains, the railways shall have to provide it within 24 hours. The Supreme Court order has also asked states and union territories to take steps to provide jobs to workers who have reached their home. The state governments have been asked to prepare a policy to provide jobs to those workers who have lost their jobs due to the lockdown. The states and union territories have been asked to prepare a complete list of migrant workers. The states and union territories shall provide details of all schemes which are current in the state, benefit of which can be taken by the migrant labourers, including different schemes for providing employment. The centre too has to give details of all schemes which can be availed by workers who have returned to their native places. The court has directed the states to do a skill mapping of workers so that they can identify their skills and provide them with a suitable job. The list shall be maintained village-wise, block-wise and district-wise to extend benefits of different schemes. In order to facilitate the workers, the court has asked states to establish counselling centres and help desks at block and district level to provide all necessary information regarding government schemes and help them identify avenues of employment and benefits which can be availed by them under these schemes. The counselling centres shall also extend a helping hand to those migrant workers who have returned to their native places and want to return to their places of employment. The court has also asked the states and union territories to consider withdrawing legal complaints lodged against migrant workers who allegedly violated measures of lockdown by moving on roads. Signalling government's commitment to welfare of migrant labourers and complying with the Apex Court order, the Railways Minister tweeted that the Railways will continue to provide Shramik special trains to states as demanded. Welcoming the Supreme Court's directions, the BJP spokesperson Shahnawaz Hussain said that the party will abide by it and more trains will be made available to transport stranded migrants to their destinations if needed.
केंद्र सरकार ने ये तय ही कर लिया था क्योंकि 1 करोड़ से ज्यादा लोगों को हम प्रवासी जो मजदूर हैं उसको भेज चुके हैं और माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी कहा है और उस पर पहले से ही काम हो रहा है और तेजी से जो लोग जाना चाहेंगे उनके लिए ट्रेनें उपलब्ध करा रही है केंद्र सरकार। सुप्रीम कोर्ट के भी उस आदेश का पालन किया जाएगा।
In the last hearing, Solicitor General Tushar Mehta told the court that more than 4,200 Shramik special trains ferried around 1 crore workers back home till June 3. The next hearing of the case will be on July 8. The court will review the steps taken by the states. With Vikas Sarthi, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
So let's now take a look at the various measures that the central government has taken so far amid the coronavirus crisis as far as migrant workers are concerned. So here's a look at the various measures that have been taken for welfare of migrant workers. Over 4,000 Shramik trains have transported nearly 1 crore migrants so far. So that's the number that we are looking at, more than 4,000 trains and around 1 crore migrants transported. Shramik trains have been running since the 1st of May 2020 and over 4,000 such trains have run so far. The centre asked states how many workers still had to be shifted. So the centre and the states have been in constant touch on transportation of migrant workers. Centre asked states about requirement of trains to send workers home. So there has been, like I said, a constant communication that has been on between the centre and states on this. Railways are set to continue to give Shramik trains to states as demanded. That's what Railways Minister Piyush Goyal tweeted. Also, the CRB, who is the Chairman Railway Board, said that trains are to be provided within 24 hours after demand is received from states. So within a matter of 24 hours, states will be given the Shramik trains that they asked for. 1.7 lakh crore package under PM Garib Kalyan scheme had already been announced. This was the first tranche of measures that the government had announced after the lockdown was imposed. Free rice, wheat and pulses for 80 crore poor for 5 months. That was part of that Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. Also free food grains for 2 months for 8 crore migrant workers who don't have central or state PDS card. So this is beyond what the centre had announced earlier. Affordable rental housing scheme for urban poor and migrant workers was also announced so as to help them get some rental housing at the place of their work. One Nation, One Ration Card scheme is going to be launched from August. That announcement was also made by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman as part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Scheme to ensure migrants can use their ration cards across states. So that One Nation, One Card scheme is actually a ration card portability scheme. By March 2021, 100% coverage has been targeted for interstate portability of ration cards. So it begins in August and is set to be completed in March next year. Manrega wage has been increased by 20 rupees from 182 rupees to 202 rupees per day. So this is again an incentive to those workers who are going back home to get more wages. Additional allocation of 40,000 crore rupees has been announced to Manrega, and that takes Manrega allocation to record levels. Target of around 300 crore man days of employment has been set under Manrega. That was much more than currently the man days of employment that are there under this rural employment scheme. Campa funds of 6,000 crore rupees for employment and forestry jobs was also announced by the government, and some states have said that they will also be employing migrant labours under this other than tribals, for which the scheme was initially meant for. States are conducting skill mapping of migrant workers. This is extremely important. We'll tell you about the states that have already conducted to a large extent the skill mapping. UP government has completed skill mapping of 23.5 lakh migrant workers. Out of around 30 lakh migrant workers who've gone back to Uttar Pradesh, we are looking at that number already skill mapped. UP government survey says that 77% of those 23.5 lakh migrant workers want to stay back in UP, and thus the onus is on UP government to ensure that these people get employment there, and that's the reason why skill mapping becomes essential. The Bihar government says that taking steps to provide jobs to 28 lakh migrants who have returned. So Bihar government is also doing the skill mapping. It is saying that there are 28 lakh migrant workers who have returned and they'll be providing jobs to them. Bihar and Jharkhand are also carrying out skill mapping of migrant workers other than Uttar Pradesh. So at least these 3 states are on the job. Some employers are also booking air and AC train tickets to bring labourers back. So that is one measure that various employers are taking in order to incentivize migrant labourers who have gone back to their homes to come back and rejoin work. We'll take a break at this point in time, but after the break, we'll discuss how the centre has been committed to welfare of migrant workers. We'll be back in a bit.
काश मैं महंगी टिकिया ले पाती।
महंगी नहीं, फेना सुपर वॉश टिकिया आजमाइए।
बेहतरीन झाग, रोज और चंदन, सुपर चमक।
महंगी टिकिया जैसी धुलाई फेना सुपर वॉश टिकिया में समाई।
फेना ही लेना।
फेना कपड़ों से हटाए कीटाणु, इंडिया में बना गर्व के साथ।
पहला अक्षर रट लो तो वह से एक विद्वान होगा। पक्की होगी बुनियादें तो हाँ से हिंदुस्तान होगा। पहले करो शुरुआत करो, करो तो पक्की बात करो।
वंडर सीमेंट, एक परफेक्ट शुरुआत।
Welcome back. You're watching News Night, and that brings us to our In Focus tonight, which is Centre is committed to welfare of migrant workers. To talk about that, we are joined by Yaduvendra Mathur. He is former Special Secretary Niti Aayog. Also joining us in a short while will be Jayant Krishna. He is former CEO in SDC Skill India Mission. I welcome you, Mr. Mathur, to News Night. You know, the centre has written to states at least thrice. That's what the Railway Ministry says on the communication as far as Shramik special trains are concerned, because the centre is now telling states, and over a period of time it's been telling states that it will be providing Shramik special trains to them within 24 hours of the demand being raised. How do you look at this coordination that has been happening, especially since May when this train service began?
Yeah, so thank you. I think you have in focus. It's a very contemporary and a very relevant issue. And I think we will need to really complement the railway board and the at the highest levels the coordination, because the railways was very efficient, and within 24 hours of the state government seeking any movement on a particular route, the railways were able to mobilize, and the trains were provided. And it is not only that it was a very rigid train route. The chairman railway board himself has been monitoring this, and we were given to understand from official sources that many of the trains routes were also deliberately changed to accommodate the migrant laborers who had boarded a particular train. And there was so it was more of a real-time response of the railways to ensure that the maximum number of migrants who wanted to move on the train, they could get on the trains, and as per their destinations, those trains were rerouted. So I think in a massive operation of the scale at which happened, I think we have to. I know there may have been a lot of inconveniences because many were caught napping, but I think within a couple of days things got organized, and now that coordination between the chief secretaries, the railway board, under the disaster management framework is all well in place. And like the Supreme Court has desired, I think the system is already well laid out, and I don't see any problems going forward.
And there is a skill mapping of these migrants who've gone back to their home states, that those home states are taking up. At least Uttar Pradesh and some other states have taken that up already. But the Supreme Court also spoke about how it is important to set up counseling centers and help desks at the district level, at the block level, to advise migrant workers on the jobs that they can take, on the various schemes that are there to benefit them. How important is execution of this going to be?
Oh, absolutely. I think, I just like to give a little background. It is even before the COVID thing kind of flared up in the middle of February, the Ministry of Skill Development had already convened a review meeting with all the state governments. This was a part of their normal routine activity to strengthen the district skill centers. So the ministry has been very cognizant that the skill mapping of not only migrants, but all desirous of getting employment and getting upskilled. So at the district level, the district skill centers were already being, state governments were encouraged to get the district collectors from Niti Aayog, the aspirational district program, about 120 aspirational districts, very focused, which were the most challenging. So the skill development, the whole ecosystem in partnership with the private sector, the National Skill Development Program, the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Kaushal Vikas Yojana, the National Entrepreneurship Program. So there are a slew of programs by the various ministries as well as by state governments. So in fact, the challenge is there is a multiplicity of these programs, and at the district level, they are all well coordinated and convened. So my sense is that activity had started, but now we need to gear it up. And across the country, every district collector is now sensitized, and this district level action on matching the needs of the private sector, the industry, with the skill set which is available. And you may be aware of the Swades platform recently launched. All the migrant workers who are coming into India from other countries, they can go online and they can upload their data bank and what skills they have, and then the private sector can pick up. So it's a massive task, but I can assure your viewers that the framework is well in place, and you rightly said we have to implement it, particularly at the district level, like UP has done a phenomenal job, I understand.
Is the centre also cognizant of the nutritional requirements of these migrant workers, and is that the basis of the One Nation, One Ration Card scheme that the centre has conceived, which is set to roll out from August this year?
Absolutely, because the One Nation, One Ration Card is a game changer, because the challenge has been to actually even get a handle on the number of migrant workers in any particular city or a district or a state. But through the ration card network, I think that will be a very efficient, and I think it's a brilliant move to get this mobility of the ration card also become a surrogate to actually keep a track of where the migration is happening. Not all migration is bad. Migration does connect a particular skill set with a particular requirement in the country. So while migration is pro-development, but it should be organized and well cared for. So rental housing scheme, I think you should also let the viewers know in detail in some program about the push for rental housing. And I think that is again going to be a game changer when the private sector and the state governments, along with the central government, can provide the funding support so that rental housing is available, a large pool which can address to the laborers. So the one ration card, one nation scheme is absolutely brilliant. It has to be implemented. Central government has been pushing the states for a couple of years, and this calamity, this epidemic has actually, really accelerated the implementation. And I think this is going to be a very, very important scheme to address the nutritional need of all who are in that category. So I cannot but compliment this particular scheme for its fine implementation.
So the various initiatives which are part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, you are saying, are going to help the migrant workers who have gone back to their homes, particularly in myriad ways. Well, stay with us. Let's go across to Jayant Krishna, former CEO, NSDC Skill India Mission, who's also joining us. Mr. Krishna, we are aware that the Supreme Court has asked states and union territories to skill map migrant workers who return, and we've been telling our viewers that various states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and some others have already begun the skill mapping exercise. But what should be the way forward? Is it important for these states to tie up with industries, for instance, to reskill migrant laborers if required?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the skill mapping, where few states have taken the lead, I think this is definitely a step in the right direction. But it's important that it should be a nationwide program. Because when you are talking about skill mapping, the same data fields, the same items should be captured by different states. Today, what's happening, even the format of the skills inventory that one is trying to create varies from state to state. In some states, it varies from district to district. It's very important it becomes a national program of skills inventory being created of the labor force, and it should be technology based engine, so that it could be anybody trying to invest in India, either FDI or domestic investments, they should have access to that skills inventory. So I think this is a very remarkable thing, but it has to be done in a far better manner, in a structured manner, based on technology, that it becomes a national database of our skill force, which is estimated to be anywhere between, before some job losses happened due to COVID in the lockdown, it was anywhere between 47 crore to 52 crore. I think all these, and as per the economic survey 2019, 93% of the skill force, of the labor force is actually informal and unorganized. I think we must capture that data very well. So part of the problem that we saw in the country, which migrant labor faced, was also attributed to the fact that we do not have a proper database and inventory of these people. So I think skills inventory is very good, but I think it should be a national program, a technology-enabled program, so that the search becomes easy and it's a nationwide, the same data elements are captured all across.
Mr. Krishna, through these initiatives, will crisis be converted into opportunity? Also, will a semblance of structure and organization be added to what is an organized sector with skill mapping, etc. taking place?
I presume so. I think COVID is a very good opportunity. Of course, it is such a big calamity, such a big pandemic, but it's equally good an opportunity also. See, if we look at why in our country we see such a huge degree of informalization of labor, the reason is because our labor laws have been very, very complex. There are 44 labor laws at the federal level, at the Government of India level, and up to 200 labor laws at the state level, which vary from state to state. So there is already an effort happening to codify these 44 national labor laws into 4 categories, into 4 codes. The industrial relations related ones will come under one code. The salary and wage one will come in another one. All occupational safety and occupational health ones will come in one, and all social security ones will come in one code. So one of them has already been passed by the, it was presented to the parliament. Now it is there with one of the labor standing committees. I think we must fast track this, and also Government of India, perhaps what it could explore is can they propose a model state labor law for every state and ask them to implement that model state law at the state level? Because state labor is a concurrent subject. It is, some of the laws are central, some of the laws are state level laws. So, the model state level law could be attempted by Government of India and for rollout in all this thing. Because, very often we feel that these labor laws have done a lot of good to our country. While it's done some good to the small percentage of organized and formal labor, but large part of them are not touched by this at all here. So I think this is also an opportunity because the plight of the migrant workers was exposed to the entire country. It's also an opportunity to look at that how do we extend the social security measures to the informal workforce also. Social security measures like the sickness, what happens when they are unwell, what happens if they meet accidents, old age. I would even go to an extent of that we should, as a country, we must explore very seriously, like you have in some other countries, something like an unemployment insurance. If the job loss happens because of a pandemic or a natural calamity or because of technology wave changing or a business landscape changing, there must be some social security in the form of unemployment insurance available. And I think Government of India must do a serious exploration on that front and try to use that. Of course, there are issues that there'll be a cost to the social security.
Yes.
So who puts the bill?
Fair enough. That is the kind of scheme that we see in countries like the United States, but it's for the Union Cabinet to take a call on that. But Mr. Krishna, one last question on the importance for various states to create local jobs, as many migrant workers will not choose to return. They might want to continue to stay at their homes and find jobs there. So how important would it be for states to create local employment?
I think it's important, but let's also understand a fundamental thing. Why migration happens? Because a lot of migrant labor goes from populous states like UP, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, MP, in different other clusters. So these states typically do not have a sizable amount of industrial investment so as to provide local opportunity. Industrial investments are there in states like Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Gujarat, and so on and so forth, and even to a large extent NCR cluster, So wherever there are populous states where local industrial investments are low, labor goes from those states to the states which have a higher concentration of industry or infrastructure projects and so on and so forth. So this will remain to some extent because creating local opportunities at the state level, it's a good thing, but it's a time-consuming thing. Industrial investments don't happen just like that. There are a lot of opportunities for India as a country today. They're worldwide, they're anti-China sentiments. How could India become the next, workshop of the world? I think it's a huge opportunity. And some of the reforms which have been announced by the Prime Minister and by the Finance Minister, I think those are steps in that direction. We have to ensure that how we as a country could recreate, use COVID as an opportunity and recreate the magic of the 1991 reforms in the country so that, we get a lot of investments and a lot of these problems we leave behind us and we become a resurgent country and with a resurgent economy and, as the Prime Minister says, making it a $5 trillion economy in foreseeable future. I think these steps, there are so many negative dimensions of COVID-19, which we all know, but we as a country must look at this as an opportunity to transform, opportunity to reform big time.
Absolutely. So this crisis should be seen as an opportunity and accordingly more reforms could be taken up as you're suggesting. Well, thank you, Jayant Krishna and Yaduvendra Mathur for having joined us on Newsnight tonight. Let's move on now, and Delhi's Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal chaired the meeting of Delhi Disaster Management Committee today, and he stressed on the need to ramp up medical infrastructure fast. He instructed field officials to delineate containment zones properly to ensure their effective management to contain the spread of COVID-19. He also advised departments to take lessons of best practices from other cities like Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore, etc. for management of COVID-19 cases in Delhi. And in another development, the Lieutenant Governor convened an all-party meeting in which BJP raised the issue of testing and availability of hospital beds. AAP asked the LG his plan with regard to rising corona cases in Delhi, and the Congress demanded compensation for each infected family.
COVID-19 cases in the national capital are on the rise, with overall cases close to 30,000 till date. Amid this situation, Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal chaired a meeting of Delhi Disaster Management Authority, where Delhi's Deputy CM Manish Sisodia, Delhi's Health Minister Satyendra Jain, ICMR DG, Delhi Police Commissioner and other related departments took part. After the meeting, the LG took to Twitter and said, directed all stakeholders for following containment zone strategy as per ICMR guidelines and delineate containment zones properly to ensure their effective management to contain the spread of infection. Also advised to follow best practices from others for management of COVID-19 cases in Delhi. He further said that he has instructed to conduct thorough contact tracing of affected persons and testing as per ICMR guidelines for COVID-19 testing without any deviation. Admission of eligible COVID-positive patients to be ensured as per protocol. Amidst all this, Lieutenant Governor of Delhi called an all-party meeting on Tuesday afternoon, which lasted for nearly 2 hours. BJP's Adesh Gupta, Aam Aadmi Party's Sanjay Singh, Congress Anil Chaudhary, NCP, CPI, CPIM took part in this meeting. LG consulted all parties on plan to reopen of schools, malls and metro. In the meeting, BJP's Delhi Unit Chief Adesh Gupta raised the issue of testing and availability of hospital beds. Aam Aadmi Party asked Lieutenant Governor his plan with regard to rising corona cases in Delhi, while Congress demanded compensation of 10,000 rupees to the infected family. After the meeting, also BJP national spokesperson Shahnawaz Hussain took a dig at Aam Aadmi Party government for its policies.
दिल्ली के लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर बैजल साहब ने कोरोना का जो बढ़ता हुआ खतरा है इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए आज बैठक बुलाई और कोरोना की लड़ाई को और कितनी सख्ती से लड़ना है इस पर अपना निर्देश दिया है। वो कंफ्यूजन जो कल दिल्ली सरकार ने पैदा किया था बाहरी और भीतरी का, वो कंफ्यूजन खत्म हो गया है। लेकिन कोरोना के लड़ाई में दिल्ली सरकार कोई कंफ्यूजन न पैदा करे। केंद्र का पूरा सहयोग राज्य सरकारों को है, दिल्ली की सरकार को भी केंद्र का पूरा सहयोग लेना चाहिए और कोरोना से एक मजबूत लड़ाई लड़नी चाहिए।
Earlier, Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal had overruled the Aam Aadmi Party government's decision to reserve hospitals except those run by the Centre for Residents of Delhi. He also reversed a decision to test only those showing symptoms of COVID-19 and said asymptomatic cases and high-risk contacts of a COVID-19 patient will also be tested. BJP MP Meenakshi Lekhi targeted the Delhi government, saying that they are not able to handle the situation in Delhi. She alleged that the Delhi government was targeting centre and private hospitals to hide its failures.
दिल्ली की जो बदहाली है उसके लिए कोई और नहीं बल्कि दिल्ली की प्रशासनिक व्यवस्था में विधानसभा में चुने हुए लोग हैं जिनको मुख्यमंत्री और मंत्री बनने का शौक है लेकिन दिल्ली संभालने का शौक नहीं है। और इसके लिए केंद्र सरकार के ऊपर दोष मढ़ना, कभी लैब्स के ऊपर दोष मढ़ना, कभी प्राइवेट अस्पतालों के ऊपर दोष मढ़ना, अपना काम नहीं करना और सबके ऊपर दोषारोपण करना। और जिस फिजूल खर्ची से इन्होंने मोहल्ला क्लिनिक के ऊपर पैसा खर्च किया है और उसका जो लाभ है दिल्ली की जनता को धेले भर का नहीं मिला।
Meanwhile, several petitions have been filed in the Delhi High Court challenging the Delhi government's order on reserving Delhi's hospitals for residents of Delhi. Although before the verdict, the LG has given relief to the people by overturning the decision. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
And that brings us to our In Focus tonight, which is the Lieutenant Governor takes stock of Delhi's COVID-19 preparedness. To talk about that, we have with us our Rajagopalan, senior journalist. Welcome, Mr. Rajagopalan, to DD News. Has the Lieutenant Governor intervened only to bring a semblance of order into what seemed like a collapsing health management system over COVID-19 in Delhi?
Mr. Anil Baijal, who was a Union Home Secretary, he is the governor of Lieutenant Governor of Delhi. He has done extremely careful job by convening two important things today, as you mentioned. One is Delhi Disaster Management Committee meeting. Second is all-party meeting. Therefore, he approached it from the bureaucracy, from the political point. But my understanding is LG has limited role. At the same time, Chief Minister is a politician. Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is politicizing this because Arvind Kejriwal is at the losing end. He knew that he was a failure and he knew that he is not able to move forward. The cope up with the speed with which the pandemic was also moving faster than his political initiatives. Therefore, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal did not succeed in many of his efforts. Therefore, now he is stating everything against the central government. Now BJP has taken it forward. Unfortunately, Arvind Kejriwal could not understand what the real problem was. He cooperated with the center. He was doing a very best job when the corona started, say April first week. Then he deviated from that. He opened the borders. At the same time, he closed the borders. Second thing, it was Aam Aadmi Party which created 3 obstacles to the migrants issue. One, they gave a fake message of allegedly SMS messages, WhatsApp messages, which went through Anand Vihar bus stand. It created a pandemic. It created further COVID, corona, everywhere it spread. Second thing, the Nizamuddin event, the Margas event. Second, he could not control that. Second, the most important thing is he has started to do politics, which he failed in that. Therefore, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, you have become a total, unacceptable person for Delhi. You cannot handle. Therefore, Mr. Anil Baijal, as a seasoned bureaucrat, he wanted to take the control, and today he has convened the 2 meetings, which we will wait and watch. Today it has taken a political turn. I don't know what it is going to. Sisodia, the Deputy Chief Minister, who is now speaking to media yesterday and today, said that in July end we are going to cross 5.5 lakhs, 6 lakhs, like that. He is carrying. What for they did? As Meenakshi Lekhi, BJP MP said, what is the use of Mohalla clinics? Where did your money go? What are all the things that they have spent? For the last 6 years, what was the health condition of Delhi? Therefore, these are all certain questions which public are asking Arvind Kejriwal. Today, congratulations to Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. He is not a positive case in COVID, though he got tested everything.
Yes.
He is proved to be negative. And therefore, Mr. Kejriwal, you try to concentrate more on administration, controlling this COVID.
Absolutely, but Mr. Rajagopalan, can Delhi residents be now more confident of better planning, management and execution of COVID-19 with the Lieutenant Governor taking charge, with the Delhi Disaster Management Committee meeting, and with various decisions being taken for future as well? For instance, a new hospital in Burari with 450 beds will soon be operational in this month, and 500 more beds in other government hospitals will also be earmarked. So do you think that with such strategic planning, Delhi or the National Capital Territory region will be able to meet the growing demand for more hospitals and beds as more cases increase?
Arvind Kejriwal was a failure. He could not succeed in many of the things. At least today, Anil Baijal has gone into the efforts. Today, he has taken the control. Mr. Anil Baijal, please take full control now. Now it is high time. Arvind Kejriwal should also be consulted, but at the same time, with the experience of Mr. Anil Baijal's stature, having been a Home Secretary under L.K. Advani's regime, during that time, he learned a lot of things about Delhi. He used that, and he must come in between, assure the people of Delhi that you are safe. There is no question of pandemic taking crisis. Whatever Mr. Sisodia is carrying, Mr. Anil Baijal's major duty is to nullify that type of feelings. Your question, Anil Baijal, whether he has taken the control? Yes, my answer is yes. He has taken full control of it. Thanks to Mr. Anil Baijal's long service in the administrative service, he could bring down. He, as I earlier said, he has done under 2 frontal attacks, one on bureaucracy side, one on political side. Today, all-party meeting held at Raj Bhavan, convened by Mr. Anil Baijal, was a major success.
Okay. Absolutely. So there's a reason to be confident for Delhi residents as far as COVID-19 management in the National Capital Region is concerned. Thank you, Mr. Rajagopalan, for joining us on Newsnight tonight. Well, in a major development, India-China major general level talks are scheduled for tomorrow, and according to top army sources, India and China have disengaged at multiple points in eastern Ladakh. Troops and infantry combat vehicles have moved back by 2.5 kilometers. The People's Liberation Army in Galwan area patrolling Point 15 and Hot Springs area. And India has also moved some of its troops back. And to discuss this, we have with us a correspondent who covers the Ministry of External Affairs very closely, Amritpal Singh. Amrit, is this the beginning of disengagement in eastern Ladakh?
Came about after talks at various levels were held. We know that officials from the Ministry of External Affairs of Joint Secretary levels and the DG, Director General level officer from the Chinese Foreign Ministry had an engagement in which both ambassadors posted in each other's capitals also joined in. And later we saw the next day the Corps Commander of the 14 Corps and the military commander of the Tibet military area in South Xinjiang area engage in talks, in physical talks at the Moldo PPM. There have been, Major General level talks, 2 rounds of that earlier, and also local commander, both at the level of brigade commanders and battalion commanders that have happened. So this process of de-escalation of the face-off, which started about more than a month back on the 5th of May, and there was a constant build-up on both sides following that at various points in eastern Ladakh. Now that de-escalation process has started, top army sources have told us that on the 3 points that you mentioned in the Galwan area, the patrolling point 15 and also Hot Springs area, the troops have moved back. The Chinese PLA started withdrawing about 2 to 2.5 kilometers with their troops. They had put up tents in some areas, so they've dismantled them and they've moved back to their respective bases beyond the LAC, along with infantry vehicles, which they had brought in. There were reports that they had brought in artillery, guns, etc. to those points. So the Indian troops also have moved back. So this is a process of de-escalation, which the two sides have been trying to talk it out in the Wuhan spirit and also the Mamlapuran understanding to sort of let tensions not escalate to a point of a standoff. We also hear that a Major General level talks between officers of Major General level are scheduled for tomorrow in the Hot Springs area. So this is a process of de-escalation, which you rightly say has begun, and it will be a phased de-escalation, which because the build-up had taken a month to build up, and at various points, so they would want it to be diffused. So this is a process of that.
To your mind, what has led to this thawing that we are seeing at this point in time? Is it the military talks or the diplomatic engagements that have been taking place over the past few weeks now?
Both sides agree that it is a disputed border. Talks are going on at various levels to resolve that, and it has been 22 level of rounds of talks have taken place between the SRs, the special representatives. The Indian side is the SR is NSA Ajit Doval, and Wang Yi on the other side. Those talks happen, but there is a broad understanding which was reflected in the Wuhan spirit document and also the Mamlapuran understanding that political leadership will provide strategic guidance to the militaries on the ground. And also a very significant line which says that disputes should not, the differences should not be allowed to become disputes. So mechanisms have been put in place where troops do not come, face-to-face or a face-off or a standoff does not happen. Though that happens occasionally because there are differences in perceptions on where the LAC begins. Their perception is the LAC begins here. Your perception is that the LAC begins here. So it's a long border. So we've seen, sometimes they escalate right up to many days, 70 plus days, as we saw in Doklam. But then, there are mechanisms in place to diffuse that. And I think in the present standoff, both sides understand that there is no point escalating it.
Yes.
The only way forward is to, work in the ambit of the Wuhan spirit and the Mamlapuram understanding, where the principals of both countries had met and agreed that there should be an early resolution of the border, which we saw the defense minister reiterate yesterday also. After the Corps Commander level talks, we saw statements coming out both from the Indian foreign establishment and the Chinese foreign establishment, saying that the idea is to de-escalate and peacefully resolve the matter.
Yes.
And I think this is a fallout or outcome of that process.
Absolutely. So both sides have worked in the spirit of Wuhan talks and the Mamullapuram understanding, like you say. Thank you, Amritpal Singh, for having joined us on Newsnight. The 16th meeting of the high-level group of ministers on COVID-19 was chaired by Dr. Harshvardhan, Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare, via a video conference today, and the GOM was briefed about the latest status, response and management of COVID-19 in the country. A brief snapshot was presented to the GOM, highlighting the comparative position of India vis-a-vis other countries in similar stage of easing the lockdown, underscoring the benefits that have accrued from the lockdown and how this can be leveraged in management of the disease. The GOM was briefed on the progress made in the spheres of the tasks assigned to the 11 empowered groups. It was briefed about how the SOPs issued by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare for public and semi-public environments would allow resumption of economic activity without compromising the preventive measures to contain COVID-19. Dr. Harshvardhan, who is the chairman of the GOM, said that as we enter into Unlock 1.0 phase, where restrictions have been eased and curbs have been lifted, we need to be more disciplined in our behavior. He asserted that let us also not forget the social vaccine against COVID-19 through strict adherence of norms of physical distancing, hand hygiene and mask or face covers. So far, a total of 1,29,214 people have been cured in India. 4,785 patients were cured in the last 24 hours alone, and this takes the total recovery rate to 48.47%. The total number of active cases as of now are 1,29,917. Meanwhile, it has been decided that high-level multidisciplinary central teams will be deployed to 15 states and union territories that have more than 50 districts or municipal bodies which are witnessing high case load and high spurt of cases. These central teams will assist the state governments by providing technical support for containment and facilitate management of COVID-19 outbreak. These states or UTs are Maharashtra, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan, Assam, Haryana, Gujarat, Karnataka, Uttarakhand, Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, Delhi, Bihar, UP and Odisha. The three-member teams are composed of 2 public health experts or epidemiologists or clinicians and a senior joint secretary level nodal officer for administrative hand-holding and improving governance. And these teams are working in the field and visiting healthcare facilities already to support the state health department in implementation of containment measures and efficient treatment, clinical management of cases within the districts or cities. Union Home Minister Amit Shah took on Mamata Banerjee on virtual turf in his third Jan Samvad rally. In seeking change in West Bengal, Shah accused the Trinamool Congress government of indulging in violence, corruption, extortion, infiltration, terror and politics of appeasement. Here's more.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah addressed his third Jan Samvad rally, addressing the people and party workers in West Bengal. He said that a change of guard in the state is a must for its development. Amit Shah accused the TMC government of pushing the state towards poverty and backwardness. He held Mamata Banerjee responsible for ignoring the welfare of the people of the state. He said that she has roadblocked the implementation of the Ayushman Bharat scheme as well as several other central government schemes.
बंगाल की जनता को कहना चाहता हूं, ये सरकार बंगाल के गरीबों के अधिकार को रोककर बैठी। हम किसानों को पैसा भेजना चाहते हैं, किसानों की सूची नहीं मिलती। हम गरीबों को आयुष्मान भारत योजना के माध्यम से 5 लाख तक स्वास्थ्य का खर्चा देना चाहते हैं। आयुष्मान भारत योजना बंगाल के अंदर लागू नहीं होती। किस प्रकार की व्यवस्था आप कर? राजनीति की भी एक हद होती है और आप हमें कह रही है हम राजनीति कर रहे हैं।
Recounting the various steps taken by the Modi government, Amit Shah said that the commitment of the union government towards development of West Bengal is there for all to see. He hoped that the people of the state would get their due soon. Raising the issues of collapse of law and order and political violence in the state, Amit Shah said that the sounds of bomb blasts can be now heard across a land where Rabindra Sangeet resonated. He said that communal strife has torn apart the soul of West Bengal.
जब लोकतंत्र की नींव मजबूत हुई, लोकतंत्र ने अपनी जड़ें जमाई हैं, एकमात्र बंगाल ऐसा राज्य है जहां आज भी राजनीतिक हिंसा का कारोबार चल रहा है, राजनीतिक हिंसा की बोलबाल चल रही है और राजनीति के अंदर हिंसा का प्राधान्य हिंदुस्तान के किसी भी प्रदेश के अंदर नहीं होना चाहिए। भारतीय जनता पार्टी फिर से संस्कारित बंगाल बनाना चाहती है, हमारा सोनार बांग्ला फिर से बनाना चाहती है और हम एक मजबूती के साथ बंगाल की जनता के साथ खड़े हैं।
Amit Shah also questioned the actions of the Mamata government regarding the coronavirus pandemic. He also attacked the state government on the issue of bringing the migrant workers back. Shah said Bengal has so far accepted only 236 trains carrying 3 lakh people, whereas Uttar Pradesh has taken 1,700 trains for migrant workers. Bengal not only took less trains, but Mamata Banerjee even called the Shramik special trains as Corona Express. This is an outright insult to the migrant workers. Amit Shah said that because of Prime Minister Modi's leadership that united the nation in tackling coronavirus, India has managed to contain the rise in number of cases and fatalities. He said that over the last 6 years, the nation has taken massive strides on the path of development. It was Modi government that addressed long-standing issues like Triple Talaq and the Ram Temple issue. He expressed hope that the construction of the temple will be completed soon. Home Minister Amit Shah also attacked Mamata Banerjee for protesting against CAA. West Bengal heads for assembly polls next year. BJP is going all out to strengthen party cadres. In a spectacular performance in the 2019 Lok Sabha polls, the party increased its seat tally to 18 seats. Bikramjit Singh's report, DD India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke on the telephone with President of Philippines Rodrigo Duterte and discussed the steps being taken by the two governments to address the challenges arising out of COVID-19 pandemic. Both leaders expressed appreciation for the cooperation extended to ensure the welfare of the citizens in each other's territory, as also for their repatriation home during the ongoing health crisis. The President of Philippines also appreciated the steps taken by India to maintain supply of essential pharmaceutical products to the Philippines. Prime Minister assured President Duterte of India's commitment to support the Philippines in its fight against the pandemic. He also stressed that India's well-established capacity for manufacturing affordable pharmaceutical products, including for an eventual vaccine, once it is found, would continue to be deployed for the benefit of the entire humanity. The leaders shared their satisfaction at the progress seen in recent years in all aspects of the bilateral relationship, including defense cooperation. Prime Minister emphasized that India sees the Philippines as a vital partner in the Indo-Pacific region. Prime Minister conveyed his best wishes to His Excellency President Duterte and the people of Philippines for the forthcoming National Day of Philippines. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman took a review meeting with the MDs of public sector banks in New Delhi through a video conferencing, and the Finance Minister reviewed functioning of public sector banks with regard to loan sanctions for MSMEs and other companies under Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme. In the meeting held with the heads of banks, she lauded their efforts for achieving sanctions of over 20,000 crore rupees under the Atmanirbhar Bharat package within a short span of time. The Finance Minister advised bank officials to maintain proactive outreach at branch level and make loan forms and formalities simple. She exhorted all public sector banks to continue the focused approach to hand out loans to every eligible MSME, and also reiterated that loans under the Credit Guarantee Scheme are meant for meeting credit needs of all kinds of companies and not just restricted to micro, small or medium enterprises. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari, in an exclusive conversation with DD News, spoke about the MSME initiatives announced as part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. He said that MSME sector is the backbone of the Indian economy and the initiatives will help the MSME sector as a whole. Listen in.
हमारे देश के टोटल ग्रोथ में 29% एमएसएमई का कंट्रीब्यूशन है और इसके साथ साथ 48% एक्सपोर्ट हमारा एमएसएमई के द्वारा होता है और अभी तक 11 करोड़ जॉब्स क्रिएट हुए हैं। मेरा विश्वास है कि अभी हमने एमएसएमई की डेफिनेशन बदल दी है, जो बहुत ही पहले माइक्रो, स्मॉल और मीडियम इंडस्ट्री की डेफिनेशन बहुत ही सीमित थी। अब उसको काफ़ी बड़े प्रमाण पर 10 गुना, 15 गुना, 20 गुना इस प्रकार से वॉल्यूम बढ़ा है। और सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ है कि मीडियम इंडस्ट्री जो है उसमें टर्म लोन और ये जो आपका इक्विपमेंट में जो इन्वेस्टमेंट होती है वो करीब 50 करोड़ तक और 250 करोड़ का टर्नओवर, और इसमें एक्सपोर्ट जो है हमने माइक्रो, स्मॉल और मीडियम तीनों से निकाल दिया है। तो एक बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली है कि एमएसएमई के सभी फायदे अब सभी उद्योगों को मिलेंगे। काफी बड़ा कवरेज बढ़ा हुआ है।
The minister revealed that the government will invest 15 lakh crore rupees in the next 2 years in PPP mode, which in turn will boost the economy and employment generation.
जो स्पीड हमने मार्च एंड में 30 किलोमीटर तक हाईवे बनाए हैं और अभी जोरों में हमारा काम शुरू कर दिया है, और शायद संकट होने के बाद में भी अगले साल मार्च में अगर जाएंगे तो इस साल का 30 किलोमीटर का टारगेट 2-4 किलोमीटर ज़्यादा करके हम पूरा करेंगे। और वो इसलिए हमने तय किया कि इस 2 साल में हम 15 लाख करोड़ के काम अवार्ड करेंगे, पब्लिक प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टमेंट लाएंगे। और एक बात समझ लीजिए कि इंश्योरेंस इकोनॉमी, पेंशन इकोनॉमी और शेयर इकोनॉमी ये हमारे देश में विकसित नहीं हुई है
जी।
और इस बहाने हम पूरे दुनिया की इन्वेस्टमेंट हमारे देश में लाएंगे। उससे हमारे यहाँ गवर्नमेंट में निश्चित रूप से नई इन्वेस्टमेंट आने से रोजगार निर्माण होंगे।
Elections for the 24 seats of Rajya Sabha are scheduled to be held on the 19th of June. An interesting fight could be witnessed on these seats. 37 candidates from 10 states have already been elected unopposed.
Today is the last date for filing nominations for 24 seats of the Rajya Sabha. Polling for this election is scheduled to be held on the 19th of June for 4 seats of Andhra Pradesh, 4 seats of Gujarat, 4 seats of Karnataka, 3 seats of Rajasthan, 3 seats of Madhya Pradesh, 2 seats of Jharkhand, and 11 seats of 4 states in the northeast, which are Manipur, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, and Meghalaya. As per the Election Commission direction, the entire electoral process has to be completed by the 22nd of June. 37 ruling and opposition party candidates from 10 states have already been elected unopposed to the Rajya Sabha. Prominent faces elected unopposed are NCP Chief Sharad Pawar, Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairperson Harivansh, Union Minister Ramdas Athavale, M. Thambidurai from the AIADMK, G.K. Vasan from the Tamil Manala Congress, Dipendra Singh Huda from the Congress, and Priyanka Chaturvedi from the Shiv Sena. Many known political faces are in the fray for the election scheduled to be held on the 19th of June. They include Jyotiraditya Scindia from the BJP and Digvijay Singh from the Congress in Madhya Pradesh, K.C. Venugopal in Rajasthan, and former Prime Minister H.D. Devagowda in Karnataka. In Gujarat, an interesting fight may take place in this election between the BJP and the Congress. With Rishi Kumar, Neeraj Singh, DD India.
Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu and Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla reviewed various options for holding the ensuing monsoon session of Parliament. And according to sources, the Secretaries General of both the Houses of Parliament briefed the two presiding officers on the various options under consideration in the meeting convened by Venkaiah Naidu. The Secretaries General reported the outcomes of assessment of seating capacity in the chambers of both the Houses, the Central Hall of Parliament and the Plenary Hall of Vigyan Bhavan. They informed that while the Rajya Sabha chamber can accommodate about 60 members as per the norms of social distancing, the Lok Sabha chamber and the Central Hall is adequate enough for a little over 100 members. They further said that even if the members were to be accommodated in the galleries, the total capacity of seating would be much less than required if all members were to be accommodated. Even the Plenary Hall of Vigyan Bhavan would not be adequate to accommodate all the members of Lok Sabha. The officials further informed the presiding officers of certain other limitations if the Central Hall and Vigyan Bhavan were to be used for the session, like the non-availability of AC facility in the Central Hall and problems of enabling simultaneous interpretation service. Another option discussed was to enable attendance in chambers of both houses of only those many members who can be accommodated as per social distancing norm by drawing up lists of such members whose participation in business is needed on a daily basis. According to sources, Venkaiah Naidu and Om Birla directed two top officials to examine in detail various issues related to enabling virtual participation of members in the proceedings of both the houses with regard to the maximum capacity available for enabling such virtual participation. In Assam, a massive fire broke out at the gas well of Oil India Limited at Bhagjan in Tinsukia district. A team of National Disaster Response Force is present on the spot, and the oil well in Assam have been continuously flowing out gas since the 27th of March, when the producing well of Bhagjan 5 became very active and gas from the well began flowing uncontrollably. Oil India Limited had then sought help from experts from Singapore-based firm MS Alert Disaster Control to control the flow of gas. The experts from Singapore have reached the spot yesterday, and efforts to control the fire are currently underway. Assam Chief Minister has directed the district administration to ensure security of locals. He has directed the Chief Secretary and the DGP to take stock of the situation. The police, assisted by paramilitary forces and NDRF, have been sent to secure the area. Chief Minister also said that he has also spoken to Union Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan on the situation. Chief Minister said that he has requested Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh for seeking help of the Indian Air Force to douse the fire. He appealed to people to not panic, as the state government and central government will leave no stone unturned to bring the situation under control. COVID-19 updates from India, and the total number of fresh cases held steady as active cases now stand at 1,29,917, while 1,29,214 patients have been discharged so far. Maharashtra, meanwhile, continued to report the highest number of new cases in a single day. Tamil Nadu, Delhi, Gujarat and West Bengal also saw a spike in fresh infections from the virus. However, a total of 7,466 deaths were registered due to novel coronavirus. And here's a fact check done by the Press Information Bureau, in which a claim circulating on social media has stated that a guideline for containment of coronavirus in light of its speed among government staffers, and it is being shown in media as that being issued for all central government offices. However, the fact check reveals that the order is internal to Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances and does not apply to all offices of Government of India. The world's largest ever repatriation exercise, Vande Bharat mission, has expanded its wings. The second phase of the Vande Bharat mission is underway, and in this series, passengers completing formalities to board the Kuwait-Kozhikode flight today. In another series of flights, a flight took off from Doha for Kannur, and it carried around 176 passengers and 8 infants. Also, 175 passengers and 3 infants boarded the Doha-Trivandrum flight at the Hamad International Airport. The flight took off a short while back. Out of around 962 persons from Jammu and Kashmir who had registered with the Embassy of India, Riyadh, 423 persons have been repatriated in 3 special flights from Riyadh, Dammam and Jeddah under the Vande Bharat mission. Remaining expatriates from J&K would be repatriated in the coming days. In a letter addressed to the Ambassador of India, Dr. Asif Saeed, Kashmiri expatriates in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia lauded the efforts of the embassy in making swift arrangements for repatriation of stranded Kashmiris in Saudi Arabia. And earlier today, a Muscat-Vijayawada flight took off from Muscat and will bring home stranded Indians. Check-in for the special flight is underway. This is the first flight under Phase 2 of Vande Bharat mission from Oman. Southwest monsoon continues to be active in parts of Karnataka and more areas of Tamil Nadu. As per India's Met Department, conditions are becoming favorable for further advance of southwest monsoon into some more parts of Central Arabian Sea, Goa, some parts of Maharashtra, Karnataka and Rayalaseema. As of now, the northern limit of monsoon passes through Karwar, Shimoga, Tumkuru, Chittoor and Chennai. Hence, remaining parts of Tamil Nadu, some parts of Telangana and coastal Andhra Pradesh, some more parts of Central and North Bay of Bengal and some parts of northeastern states will see monsoon activity during the next 48 hours. Meanwhile, the annual monsoon trawling ban has come into effect off the Kerala coast from Tuesday midnight. The ban prevents trawling up to 12 nautical miles away from the Kerala coast. Traditional fishermen have been exempted from the ban. With the southwest monsoon heralding the fish breeding season, the ban on trawling is intended to minimize disturbance to that process and replenish marine wealth in the region. Over 4,000 mechanized vessels will lie idle at the state's fishing harbors till the end of the 52-day ban on the 31st of July. That's it then in this edition of News 9. News and updates will continue on DD News and DD India.